Hello and welcome to my tiny tarot practice. I'm Amelia Ruby, and on this show, I am your fellow traveler as we journey through the tarot card by card. Today's card is the Hermit. In the Rider-Waite-Smith edition of the tarot, the Hermit features a person in a gray cloak with a white beard. They have a staff in one hand and they're holding a lantern out in front of them in the other. And inside the lantern, we see a 6-pointed star shining bright. The Hermit appears to be at the top of a mountain, and all we can see behind them is the gray sky. Common themes for the Hermit are wisdom, solitude, guidance, both being a guide and seeking or finding a guide. And when I first started working with the tarot, I pulled this card often, and it really felt like the Hermit was guiding me into the tarot, guiding me toward the cards and into learning about and convening with them. I love how Rachel Pollack invites us into this double image of the card as both example and guide. The Hermit invites us to go deeper within, to remove ourselves from the world, to seek solitude. But the Hermit also guides us forward. The Hermit can be someone else who is ahead of us on the path, who has this lantern that shows us the light and the way. And when I pull this card in a reading, I often ask myself, am I leading or am I following right now? Do I desire a teacher or am I being invited to teach? And often, to find the answer to that question, I have to seek solitude. I have to go within. I have to step back from the many, many voices that I may be hearing or speaking to. And I have to reconnect with my own inner voice to help me uncover whether I already know what is needed or if I still have more information and guidance to seek out. I love how Cecily Saylor writes in Tarot for Creative Spirits, quote, "The Hermit invites us to step away from the incessant distractions and demands of the world, so we can connect with our inner wisdom, our intuition, our own thoughts, dreams, and ideas. If we never or rarely make time for solitude, we end up running our lives according to external imperatives, demands, and other people's desires and expectations." End quote. I think this brings another really important valence to the Hermit card, which is that this card invites us to consider, where are we already on preordained paths in our life? Where are we following the dreams and desires that we've been told we should want, either by specific people we admire or society and its stories more broadly? In my own life, I've found myself on these paths as a student, as a graduate student, as an employee, as a business owner, as a daughter, as a sister, as a spouse. There are so many places where I've been encouraged to take the preordained path or found myself on that path and realized that it really wasn't for me. And I think that the Hermit gives us an inkling that it might be time for that interrogation. It might be time to strike out on our own path, to follow our own guidance, or to seek out a teacher that has their own Hermetic wisdom, a teacher who has traveled their own solitary path and who now we can seek out for support and guidance, not in taking their path, but in finding our own. One last concept that I want to bring in for this card is the idea of loneliness. Because often we take those preordained paths. We seek clear directives and answers and popular teachers because we want to feel like we belong. We want community. We want togetherness with other people. And we may be afraid of striking out on our own, of forging our own path because it feels very lonely. But I think that the Hermit calls us into solitude, rather than loneliness. And the hermit holds the wisdom that our path is always leading toward ourself. Not the superficial, conscious self, perhaps, that the world tells us we are, but the deeper, truer self in our essence. That's where the hermit's headed. That's the light they carry in front of them that we are always guided and oriented towards. I think that's where the tarot leads us. And I think in that way, the hermit always feels to me like a guide or a guardian for the fool who is on this journey through the major arcana. The hermit appears just after the fool has taken that step into the strength card, has found their inner strength, and now the hermit's there to guide them even deeper into their self. Thank you so much for tuning in to my tiny tarot practice. As we continue this journey through the tarot, I hope that you will seek the solitude of the hermit, but also remember that you are never alone.